Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Friday Night SmackDown of October 18th, 2024. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way, shall we? I'm to leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown, and, of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into the review, shall we? So, this episode of SmackDown, to me, was a telling of there's one story that I'm really invested in, while all the others just really feel like a little bit of filler. But we're going to kick off with the tag team division because we haven't been able to talk about the tag team division in quite some time because they've been on the back burner for quite some time. But now, it doesn't look like just on SmackDown, but on Raw too, that they are saying, look, we're going to start taking the tag division a little bit more seriously. And now, here we are. We have two triple threat tag team matches. The first one being DIY versus Street Profits versus Pretty Deadly, and then the second one being the A-Town Down Under, Los Gaza, and then, of course, the debut of the Motor City Machine Guns. And we'll kick off with the first one with Pretty Deadly, Street Profits, and DIY. I thought it was a very fun match, a very chaotic match, a lot of good spots, and I think the finish overall was very inventive. I enjoyed the whole, as it got crazier, because they kept making sure to amplify throughout the whole entire match. It's triple threat rules, one man per each team is legal. They have to tag in their own partner, and you have to pin the legal man. Okay, cool. And they kept saying that. I was like, okay, I get it. But little did I know they were just trying to lead you up into the finish, because once it got crazy and it was like, I don't know how the referee's keeping track of this, so who's legal is not. I certainly can't. And then we get to the finish where both members of Pretty Deadly are up there, beating on Montez Ford. Angelo Dawkins puts him up. The Street Profits hit their tag team finisher as DIY hit their tag team finisher on the other Deadly person. Both Montez and Ciampa get the pin, 1, 2, 3, but who's the legal man? And it turns out it was DIY. And I gotta say, I appreciated that. I really did. It kept the Street Profits strong, Pretty Deadly. They see them as a comedy act, so they're probably not going to get much more of a push as long as the Bloodline are the tag team champions. And I thought it was a really good match overall. And again, it was a very fun, creative finish. And I was like, I don't remember seeing that before, where both members pin someone on the same team, but it comes down to who's the legal person. And it was DIY moving on into the finals that they will face the winner of the other tag team match. And this was my first time seeing the Motor City Machine Guns. If you haven't noticed, on this channel, I mainly just watch WWE. I watch AEW when I can. And, of course, I catch highlights of TNA, but I've never seen a full match of the Motor City Machine Guns. And I'm going to be the person in the minority here. While I was watching, I was kind of like, watching. I was like, really? These are the guys that are so hyped up, the fans of your favorite tag team. Now, I really do feel like I can't judge them fully on this match, because a lot of the story of this triple threat was Los Garza and A-Town Down Under just double teaming these guys. Now, the few hot spots that the Motor City Machine Guns had, they did look good, and they were a lot of fun, but I just didn't see a lot of offense coming from them, and also didn't help with all the commercial breaks that were happening throughout this match. But yeah, at the end of the day, they get the win, and now it's DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns. I'm going to reserve all of my thoughts on the Motor City Machine Guns next week when we do get this proper one-on-one tag team match between them, where they could be showcased to be more even, as opposed to, okay, we're going to have a flurry, and then we're going to get jumped a little bit. Okay, then we'll have another flurry, and then we're going to get jumped again, and then we'll get the W. The winner of DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns then faces the Bloodline. Part of me thinks, if you really want to rejuvenate the tag division, especially on SmackDown, just have the Motor City Machine Guns win the belts 3 matches in a row and just go, wow. And that will get a way to really get them over. And it would be, I think, a light of fire in them. And then they could do these open challenge matches and just really get the tag division back on track and get away from these main angles that are happening. Because what I do think is going to happen as we transition over to the main event storylines, with the Bloodline, with how it opened, Solo coming out saying, hey, everyone acknowledge me. Jey Uso making a surprise appearance. What a pop that man got. They're having their conversation, and makes it very clear that the Bloodline is probably going to cost Jey the Intercontinental title on Monday, which But vice versa, I think Jey Uso then causes the Bloodline the tag team titles, and then we can get to this War Games match, but there's no extra hardware involved. It is just family versus family. And I liked everything Jey was saying, where he's like, look, I'm not on anyone's side. I'm not on Roman's side. I'm not on your side. Let's just bring the family together instead of having everyone fight each other. And then, the brief story that him and Jacob had, it was really, really good. And then, of course, we have Roman coming out. They're listening to unreleased Travis Scott music. Don't know why we wrote that one in. Maybe they have a partnership with him coming soon, but it did make Roman look really cool. And for everyone talking about, hey, Jey looked happy to see Jimmy, I think he was saying it sarcastically. Like, he was smiling sarcastically, you know what I'm saying? And then Roman going, look, we're all proud of you. Where I also really like what we're doing with Roman, because he does it again in the ring with Solo as well. Where, his biggest strength as the champion was his gaslighting, really, and how he can manipulate people. Like, look, I'm going to say what he wants to hear, and then that's what will bring him in. He did it to Jey, and Jey was like, no yeet, walked away, and Roman got really in his feelings about it. And then he goes out to the ring and goes, all right, I acknowledge you, Solo, but he did not acknowledge him as the head of the table, which Solo caught on and goes, no, acknowledge me as your tribal chief. And then Roman blew up on him. And again, it's the same ending. However, even though I'm over it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because the crowd is still very much engaged with it, where, it looks like the Roman's going to come out on top. He beats the numbers game, and then, of course, it gets the best of him in the end, and the Bloodline stand tall to end it. We know where this is heading. It's heading to the War Games match, and I guess at Crown Jewel we'll get round one between Roman and Solo, but that's the problem with Crown Jewel. It just feels like a filler, where you just know, okay, this is part one of this story, where we know it's going to culminate at Survivor Series, and it just, I don't know. I just can't fully get invested within this Crown Jewel show. I'm looking forward to Solo versus Roman once ever it gets official, but it's kind of just like, okay, we're going to get through this, and then there'll be some ref shenanigans, and then we'll get to the actual story that we want to tell once we get to Survivor Series. And it really feels that way for a lot of these storylines. Let's go to Cody Rhodes, who, God love him. God love Cody. He put everything he had into getting that Crown Jewel championship over in his match with Gunther, comparing it to the NWA champion Harley Race facing WWF champion Bruno Sammartino, Ric Flair versus, I don't remember who you said Ric Flair would face, or WCW champion Goldberg versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. This thing's just never happened, but now we get to see it. Who's going to be the first? And, he did his best. And even I was like, yeah, you know what? This is kind of cool. Then they showed Kevin Owens. I was like, oh, yeah, there's something much more interesting right there. That's the program I want. I want to see Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes now that Kevin is the actual heel. And then, seeing that promo in his van, I was like, yeah, let's get to that. Let's get to that storyline. Let's just get past Crown Jewel. That's really what it feels like. Let's just get past Crown Jewel. And, it's the same with the women as well with Nia Jax. Nia's on the phone with Tiffany. Tiffany has the flu. I guess maybe she wasn't, which I am kind of glad with what we did. Not that I hope someone gets sick, but I am really glad we didn't get Bayley and Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax again, and that we got something a little bit different, because I swear I've seen that tag match multiple times at this point. But again, it's just like, okay, let's get past Crown Jewel so we can get to Nia and Tiffany. Let's get past Crown Jewel so we can finally finish Rhea and Liv. Let's just get past Crown Jewel to see who Gunther's next true opponent is, which is probably Damian Priest. Let's just get past Crown Jewel so Cody Rhodes can face Kevin Owens. Let's just get past Crown Jewel so we can get to this Bloodline War Games match. You can see how annoying that sounds, right? But that is just how I think, and I think that's how a lot of people are thinking as well, where all of these episodes of SmackDown and Raw right now just feel like filler. Like, I really do feel like we probably could have taken the month off. We could have taken all of October off, and then, okay, now we can reassess and focus up now that we are now past Crown Jewel. But as for the women, we'll move on from the men's main event scene, but the women. We did get Lash Legend, who looks like they are going through a little bit of a try run to see if they are fully ready to be up to the main roster. I do still think she has some things to work on too. Like, the main takeaway that I got is that she points a lot. Like, it really felt like playing 2K, where when you're in a multi-man match and you're trying to get the focus going, and they always do the, yeah, you. She did that a lot in her match with Piper Niven, but she has this great showcase of strength. I think she has a good ring ability. It's just, again, this whole, she does a move and then she goes, you, or she goes, and you. It's just, it was just kind of comical to me at that point. But man, her finish where she picks up Piper Niven and, well, I don't know what that move is called, and then she hits it. Very, very cool to see. I think she'll be a great addition. She just has a little bit of things to tweak up here and there, but very fun match overall. But as for our tag team match, instead of Tiffany Stratton, it is Candice LeRae, and I'm happy. I'm happy that they're like, okay, we're going to do an upset win, because we were all thinking it, right? Candice was just there to get pinned. Naomi's going to pin Candice LeRae. It adds fuel to the fire for Nia, because she can be mad at Tiffany for not even being there. Like, Nia can never take responsibility for herself. So, she beats up Candice LeRae, and then she's like, well, Tiffany, if you were there, we would have got the win. Now I got to deal with Naomi more. Blah, 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 so on and so forth, right? But no, Candice LeRae pinned Bayley. And as much as it hurts that, Bayley is taking a lot of pins, maybe this is the direction for Bayley now. Instead of just going into obscurity, now that she is no longer in the title picture, now she can face Candice LeRae, and we could probably make Candice LeRae an actual star, and we could add more depth to this division, especially when SmackDown goes to 3 hours next year. Like, we need to add depth for these storylines to fill in a whole other hour of television. So I like what we did in that tag team match. And with that, I think that is all we got for this episode of SmackDown. I mean, yeah, sure, we promoted Match 7. LA Knight's going to be special guest referee. Don't fully love that. I kind of wish there was just an actual winner for Game 7. But it does look like now we'll probably get a no contest, and, we'll do a triple threat match. Maybe at Crown Jewel, maybe not. It probably won't be. It'll probably be at SmackDown, because I'm pretty sure the Crown Jewel matches is the Crown Jewel Championship matches, Roman and Solo, Kevin and Randy Orton, and then Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed. But yeah, overall, again, this episode of SmackDown was fine. I had a good time with it. I liked everything that we did with Roman and Solo, but it doesn't get me excited for a Crown Jewel. It gets me excited for a Survivor Series. I appreciate everything Cody Rhodes did, but then seeing Randy Orton be like, I want the match with Kevin Owens, and Nick Aldis being like, well, it's kind of out of my hands. It's coming from up above. I guess we're going to get a Triple H and Randy Orton promo segment pretty soon. That sounds exciting. But again, if it's not a Crown Jewel, is it a Survivor Series? And again, I'm just getting more excited for a Survivor Series. But yeah, comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this episode of SmackDown. Maybe you see a little bit differently. Leave a like if you made it this far. I do greatly appreciate it. And again, hit that subscribe button, as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. I could also just be in a grumpy mood after watching them blow it again. I feel like they always do at this point. But yeah, until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.